much, Andrew, for always joining us and sharing your insight. Now we move on. The U.S. Trump administration has announced a sweeping change to the H-1B visa program, asking companies to pay a $100,000 fee for worker petitions. The announcement that came yesterday is part of President Trump's wider immigration crackdown since taking office in January and represents the most significant shift in temporary employment visas. Following the announcement, the White House spokesperson Kelly Leavitt has taken to X to clarify the details regarding this new H-1B visa fee. According to her, the new fee is a one-time charge that applies only to new applications. It does not apply to existing visa holders or to those renewing their visas or to any applications filed before the 21st of September. The change takes effect at midnight on September 21st, and current visa holders will not be charged upon re-entering this country. In response to the announcement, companies including Microsoft, JP Morgan, and Amazon have advised employees on H-1B visas to remain in the United States or to return before the deadline to avoid any uncertainty. Meanwhile, India's Ministry of External Affairs has also put out an official statement saying that it is studying the implications of the measure and noting that industry on both sides has a stake in innovation and economic growth. The Indian government has also pointed to the humanitarian disruptions for families and hoped such issues will be suitably addressed by U.S. authorities. Now, for this discussion, we are joined by Dr. A.J. Dua. He's a former Secretary of Commerce and senior economist, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to NewsX World. Now, Doctor, what could be these broader economic diplomatic consequences of a 100,000 fee on U.S. and India relations?
Thank you very much. While our Ministry of External Affairs has said it's studied in detail the regulation issued yesterday and what its consequences would be, I would hazard to say that it's not going to be very positive. Like in the case of the tariff on Indian exports, goods and services, which was levied, goods basically at this stage, which was levied a couple of months ago, has not been positive. I do fear that this would check the number of technically qualified persons from India who have been contributing hugely to the development of science, technology, engineering, maths, so-called STEM fields in the United States, that could get disrupted. And it's not to anyone's advantage, be it the Indians or the United States, if a sudden disruption takes place. I think only because of enforcement, ease of enforcing, no time has been given. The regulation is made yesterday, made effective from late tonight, 2 days. So people where they are, virtually they are getting stranded. They would get stranded. And certainly one purpose of the United States, that of the Treasury benefiting from it, about which President Trump himself has talked about, that will get served. And that might be, I would look at it as a short-term benefit to the United States. But in the longer term, if there is been any misuse, I think the Indians, as has been alleged by the US administration, we should be ready to rectify that, but not really say that for 6 years, $100,000 would be required to be paid, which, in Indian currency adds up to 5 crore rupees for a 6-year tenure in the US. So only those companies would employ the Indians, those who they think can bring value of 5 crores plus their own perks and salaries. That could make things expensive for the US companies, because a large number of US companies have employed such Indians, and of course Chinese. We happen to be the biggest beneficiary, 70 to 72%, varying in the last 3 years. And in number, over almost 400,000 people per year. So that I'm seeing that if less qualified people have been going in, one could see from India under the category H-1B, probably that needs to be addressed because they are competing with the Americans, the low-skilled Americans, relatively low-skilled, with them, and the jobs must go to their own countrymen. I totally agree. That's every country's stand. That, but where there are specialized jobs and genuine interchange has been taking place of qualified people, I would think that it is necessary to revisit the enhancement. Enhancement has been increased by from a few hundred to 100,000 and made it and to be paid every year. So this is a very drastic increase. Indian visa holders or visa applicants will not be able to pay it themselves. So either their employer would have to pay, and for that it becomes a kind of a duty for customs duty on the employer. If he wants to produce a certain item, he needs to add people from India, he'll have to be paying that annually. Similarly, for the importers in the US, importers meaning users of such persons, also it's not going to be positive for their development of science, of the highly technical fields for which Indians have acquired a reputation and for which this facility was to be provided.
Yes. Thank you very much, Doctor.